Hey guys, Ryan Gill here with Hunt Primitive, where we entertain, educate, and inspire. And today we're going to talk about the psychology of hunting and what exactly does that even mean. Coming up right now. So this is something that I think about once in a while. A lot of times I don't put it into words, mostly because I feel like a lot of the hunters that, really every hunter that follows my channel probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. But there's many times that non-hunters don't quite understand what I'm talking about or what's going on in a video. And it's been brought to my attention today in a comment that I just read here on my YouTube channel about that, he really enjoys my flint knapping tutorials and that I teach things, but he doesn't like my hunting videos because he doesn't like that I smile and I laugh after, that we accomplish a kill. We get a kill on an animal because, animal lives are important and, that's a life is not something to be laughed at. And so I get that. I totally get that. But one thing that hunters will tell you right out of the gate is we are not laughing at the animal or the death of the animal. What we are smiling, laughing, and enjoying is the accomplishment of a goal. It's the celebration that comes from completing a hard hunt. Now, for somebody that doesn't hunt, that makes absolutely no sense to them, especially your typical anti-hunter or non-hunter is going to, I see deer are along the road all the time. And when I go running, I see deer or I see animals here and there, and hunting's not hard, so there's nothing hard about it. But when you talk about actually going out and hunting, really with anything, and now you're going to talk about taking it, from modern weapons, rifles, compounds, even into more modern traditional recurves, and now you're really rendering that down to a primitive hunt. And I'm not saying that primitive hunters are the only ones that should be able to enjoy their kills, because that's absolutely not the case whatsoever. But you have to figure when you put this much work into it, it's not easy. And I challenge anybody that thinks that I'm just going to go hunting with a bow and stone point and just go kill something and it's super, super easy. Go give it a try. You're going to realize really fast that it's a lot harder than you think it is. Especially when you're talking about you're building a lot of your own equipment, you're putting the time in trying to find the animals, put the stocks on, and after you've done this for a very, very large amount of time, you're going to realize how difficult it is. Now, you're going to go through a lot of ups and downs, times that you're mad and you're upset. Now, when you finally kill that animal and you walk up to it, you will see people get very emotional at times because they're overtaken with the experience, not from killing the animal, and they're not necessarily sad that they killed the animal. Like us as hunters, we love animals, but we don't love to see animals die. But that's a byproduct of hunting. You absolutely have to, and I'm going to get even into that more here in just a minute. But what we're doing is we're celebrating the goal that we achieved with the end of the hunt that we put so much work into doing. And why does that all happen? And so I think, and I'm not a psychologist by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have a great understanding of anthropology, evolution, and a little bit of psychology. So let's start thinking how or why we are ingrained with this sense of enjoying the kill. Because if we're going to be very candid about this, we have to say, okay, Ryan, so are you saying you don't like to kill animals? You do like to kill animals? Let's be quite honest about it. At this point, I am indifferent to it, okay? Like, I've experienced it enough that there's occasionally times that I feel bad about killing the animal. Sometimes that hits me and sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I just have accepted it, that's a part of my life. That's a part of all life. It doesn't matter even if you're a vegan and you think I don't kill any animals. Well, quite honestly, your life exists from the death of other animals, even through depredation, crop depredation, where you're talking about farmers growing crops. Well, what you don't see behind the scenes is they're shooting a bunch of animals and then throwing them over the fence because they're eating all the crops that they're trying to sell. And if they're eating crops, they're not making money. So at the end of the day, no matter what, everybody's killing animals. That is a product of life, and that's why it regenerates. And animals make new animals every year. And I think when you finally can wrap your head around the idea that for one thing to live, another thing must inherently die. That is the circle of life. When you understand that, you get to a point where you become rather indifferent to it. You're not happy about it. Like, I don't enjoy going out and saying, okay, well, I killed an animal just to kill it, and the fact that it died and I killed it, I enjoy that. Like, that doesn't exist. I'm sure there are a few people that just love the bloodlust. They love to just kill, but that's not your average hunter by any stretch, and definitely not your seasoned hunter. I wouldn't speculate. What they are is they're looking at achieving the goal that they set out to. And when that happens, that is cause for celebration. Now, why does the mind think that way? Well, you have to think about kind of two different factors. One, remember back in prehistoric times, and if you go back and probably watch any sort of even modern day hunters, when they make it, like modern day prehistoric hunters per se, say like tribes that are in some of the dark corners of the world, that are still existing, that even when they make a kill, it's a cause for celebration. And in fact, when they have a celebration, a lot of times they go kill an animal because that's part of the celebration. That's food, that's life. That is so normal to human culture and even animal culture for that matter. It's like if you see a pack of coyotes go and take down a deer. The coyotes are yipping and carrying on after they kill it. They're quite literally celebrating. And so what that is important is you have sustained your life. And so us as humans have this ingrained in us to enjoy the process of a hunt and accomplishing a successful hunt. And that's what gives us the drive again to continue to hunt the next time. Now, you might be one of those people that says, oh, well, we as hunters are better than that, or me as humans are better than that nowadays, and we're not animals anymore, and blah blah. I don't care what it is, but what your explanation for any of that is, you can keep all of that stuff to yourself, because I honestly just don't care. But the fact is this stuff is ingrained in us for a reason. And also, if you think about, say, like in the world of business, right? If you talk to any of your top men and women in business, the majority say you have to enjoy what you do to be successful. And that, again, is another trait that's ingrained in us. Because think about this, if you're an employee and you love your job, you're going to do your job pretty good. You enjoy coming to work every day. You're going to do a good job, and you're going to make better money, as opposed to the guy that goes into work. He hates his job, hates everything about it, hates the people. He's not going to do well in the workplace. He's not going to advance. He is basically failing DNA, at least in that quadrant of his life, right? So now if you put that back into early genetics, if you take a guy that hates to hunt, he's not going to be a very good hunter, therefore is probably not going to provide well for his family or his tribe. And he's either going to have to find a new job altogether, or he's failing DNA. The woman's not going to like him. He's not going to get to pass on his genetics. He will not carry on a leading role in his society. And so, just like today, if you want to be successful, say in whatever you do for either your business or an employee for a business, is you have to find something that you love to do. Well, I'm one of those people that I love to hunt. I enjoy the hunt. I enjoy everything about it. Of course, the older I get, the more tired I get, especially because I'm in the shop building stuff for everybody all the time. I am starting to slow down slightly. However, I truly enjoy what I do. And so when we go out, say, hey, like me and my buddy Vastin, we go out and we hunt, we put on miles and we work hard to get animals put down on the ground. And that is not just killing the animal, it is using and testing the gear that I make and I sell for a living that provides for my family. It puts food on the table. Absolutely. In that regard, we eat a ton of pigs every year. And we also get other things that perpetuate my business, be it animal hides for penetration tests or bones for knife handles, and who knows what all. We collect all kinds of weird stuff while we're out there, but we couldn't do that if we weren't out doing it and enjoying the process. But we're also spending time together. Like me and Vastin are buddies, so we go and go hunting all day and we enjoy each other's company. He's behind the camera laughing right now because he knows it's true, and he's just like, I'm so tired of watching this not work. And so there are times of frustration when we've walked very far and a hunt doesn't work out because one of us spooks the animal and the other one's like, man, we put in a lot of work for that, but we don't get on each other about it, but we understand the woes that go along with it. So when we finally put together a hunt that works out and we kill something, just like any team of hunters or even an individual, we celebrate that. It is a cause for celebration, and you see that throughout modern hunting shows. Again, you're going to see that even in documentaries where these tribes will go hunting and they bring back into camp and everybody celebrates. So we got it. You're not celebrating the death of the animal, you're celebrating the accomplishment, and that is just simply ingrained in us as humans, and absolutely, without a doubt, something that I will never apologize for whatsoever, ever. But what I do ask of you is to start thinking, if you are a non-hunter, potentially even an anti-hunter watching this and you don't understand, try to put yourself in that position, not necessarily in hunting, but something that you work hard to try to accomplish it. You might be somebody that likes to run 5Ks. Okay, well, maybe when you first started out, you didn't do so good running 5Ks. And when you finally, remember the feeling when you finally completed your first 5K without walking, right? Were you smiling? Were you happy about that? It's the same concept. You are smiling and you are celebrating over a goal. But circling it all right back together, I hope that maybe helps you understand the psychology of hunters. Why we celebrate, why we laugh, why we high five. Even, and it's weird because there's times that I go back and I have even watched films and I'm like, maybe it almost looks maniacal that I made a good heart shot on that and I'm laughing about it. And I think it's something that I honestly can't even explain in depth. We're not laughing at the animal dying. We're not laughing at the animal in pain. The laughing in itself is just part of the celebration of, wow, that worked out like really, really good. It's just a part of celebration, is all it is. And if you watch different hunters in those situations, you will see that. And to people that don't hunt, or that maybe are really new into hunting, or even against hunting especially, are going to see that and say that these are 6'6" individuals. But you have to be in that position to truly understand the psychology of a hunter in that situation. And until you are in that situation, you will probably never understand. But when you're there, you will understand.